Custom cannabis oil. Treatment with cannabis oil. Morbidity and Noth began during ancient China for thousands of years. Many cultures from the Far East to Europe sow cannabis oil to treat the ills of the gastrointestinal tract and skin infections and more. In 1621 cannabis oil has been documented even as a remedy for depression, and a book published in England in 1764 is described in further treatment of skin infections. In 1930, growing concern about the dangers of using cannabis legislation made out against the medical use of cannabis and its derivatives plant in the United States and many other countries around the world. Custom cannabis oil. So what is actually cannabis oil? Perhaps if we understand the answer to this question, we will understand why ancient therapists and doctors nowadays we tend to choose it as a treatment for various disease states. So basically, the oil consumed cannabis as medicine by those ancient cultures had high oil CBD active material, a byproduct of making the cannabis plant oil. Today scientists have known for the medicinal properties of the active ingredient in the cannabis plant. CBD is now known as one of the 85 substances identified. Marijuana. Cannabinoids and cannabinoid is one of the most common of the two active ingredients dominant after THC in the marijuana plant. Compared to the active ingredient THC-CBD does not create a sense of stella and without psychoactive properties. This makes the CBD less controversial alternative, more secure, which has significant health benefits for patients treated with it. Cannabis oil custom. This article was reviewed for you the latest information about how qualified doctors and therapists through various ills of cannabis oil while considering the needs of each patient depending on his body, in addition to adjustment of alternative medicine treatments. In our case is cannabis oil. Personalized medicine is already several years at the forefront of medicine, and in fact there is more defined alternative medicine. This name represents, according to its supporters, the ability of alternative medicine complete the missing pieces, so to speak, in conventional medicine. In fact, today's medicine uses a number of different industries at the same time to provide the patient the best treatment, after taking into account its components of genetic disease and the patient's body from which he suffers. For example, doctors treating epilepsy can recommend a patient use cannabis oil-rich active substance, which specifically CBD. Epilepsy cure more effective than cannabis oil with an equal ratio between the active ingredients CBD and THC. Custom cannabis oil. In fact, there are steps you need to take patient actively to benefit maximally virtues of the hemp plant. In this section we'll spread you the steps recommended by specialists for the way cannabis oil treatment for each patient. As a first step, the patient decide how he wants to consume cannabis oil, oral or duration of use. In cases of skin infections, recommended duration of use. Step 2, find the relationship between the active ingredients CBD and THC. At this point he needed the patient, with the help of medical staff, in accordance with the ratio between the active ingredients of the disease it is like to take care of. For example, sick chronic pain may use oil of cannabis are rich in active CBD side ratio not lower THC, but smaller than the CBD, in order to enjoy the virtues of the CBD to relieve inflammation in the nervous system resulting from the material side euphoria THC. Step 3, start at low doses. The patient get to know basis slowly the cannabis oil and get the dosage only after consultation with authorized parties. Fourth step, adhering to guidelines medical staff and the doses given by them. Consulting should be added to the relevant medical staff is mandatory and recommended every step of the way to adjust for patient hemp oil. Incorrect dosages or incorrect use may lead to the opposite result because the molecular nature of the active ingredients of cannabis oil. Cannabis oil respectively is it having reviewed how the patient is recommended to adjust his approach, and cannabis oil treatment came to give you examples of the various morbidities and specific adjustment was made in order to achieve maximal medical therapy. Cannabis oil were 10 major medicinal properties. 1. Handling pressure and HRDH. Israeli study published in 2013 demonstrated that the cannabinoid material handling patients who have undergone some form of traumatic experience, may help control emotional responses to traumatic events and prevent stress-related reactions. The researchers found that the materials cannabinoids, THC and CBD, was effective in getting the press to minimize the hippocampal receptors is the area of the brain responsible for emotional reactions. Many studies have been published on the virtues of cannabis oil treatment in situations of this type, but it should be noted that in such cases the ratio between the amount of active ingredients in the CBD is far greater than THC, the psychoactive properties due to the latter. 2. Treatment in the absence of appetite and obesity over the lack of appetite and obesity seem at first glance as problems completely opposite, but apparently they often stem from a physiologic solution is the same. While hemp oil can stimulate appetite by the release and activation of hormones responsible for hunger, certain hormones are responsible for the suppression of hunger can also be stimulated by substances cannabinoids, are they CBD and THC. It depends on which hormone is stimulated. Hemp oil may also be effective in reducing appetite and control the process of obesity. To do this effectively, it is necessary to change the relationship between the cannabinoid substances to stimulate the appropriate hormones. Cannabis oil customized Bacrin. Cannabis oil may be effective in treating both obesity and eating disorders such as anorexia and weight control potential by hemp oil, in order to balance the digestive system, the weight of suffering long. The ratio of these cases can be the same as that the two active ingredients similar functions working well together aroused body's hormonal system. 3. Asthma is a common respiratory disease that affects up to 300 million people worldwide. Is responsible for the deaths of BSL people every year, and the search for natural and effective treatment lasts for many years. Custom cannabis oil. Cannabis actually used to treat asthma have been many thousands of years. Chinese and Indian cultures, traditional. Cannabis oil can be an effective natural treatment of asthma because of the natural ability of his anti-inflammatory as well as pain-relieving effects, and especially the ability of the active ingredients of cannabis oil, expand the bronchial tubes, which allows more oxygen to flow in our body. 4. Phase treat. Cannabis oil has antioxidant properties that may benefit related questions posed by heart. Animal studies have shown that treatment with hemp oil can prevent heart disease and many blood vessels, including atherosclerosis, heart attacks, and strokes. A British study published in 2014 found that the results of animal studies were valid terms of the human heart. They have shown that cannabinoid substances can cause blood vessels to relax, expand, pave the way for improving circulation and reduced blood pressure. 5. Treatment. GAB. One of the largest and historical uses of the cannabis plant, the most common, was to relieve pain and inflammation. Indeed, there is evidence that it has been used for thousands of years for these purposes. Modern evidence about the quality of the hemp oil for pain relief by inhibiting the neuronal transmission of pain pathways of the body. It has the potential to relieve chronic pain as well as inflammation, and so many cancer patients choose to use cannabis oil during chemotherapy treatment. A recent Canadian study in 2010 showed that cannabis can be used to treat patients suffering from chronic pain. The study included 23 adult patients' neuropathic pain resulting from surgery or trauma. During the 2 weeks of the trial, patients were treated randomly with cannabis at different levels of intensity. The results showed that cannabis is taken 3 times a day managed to significantly reduce the intensity and severity of pain, as well as improving sleep. Many people consume cannabis oil deal with arthritis and severe arthritis, as well as other chronic pain. Other studies have shown that it can be used to relieve neuropathic pain. It is considered safe when taken in appropriate doses, and studies have found oil is indeed a long stick to these pain sufferers and others. Patients who want to take care of these problems will be referred generally to the cannabis oils with high doses of CBD material due to the impressive qualities for pain and inflammation. 6. For the treatment of cancer, scientists were able to discover the different cannabinoid substances have a variety of beneficial effects in laboratory conditions. These symptoms include: activates cancer cell death process known as apoptosis. Preventing cell division. Preventing new blood vessels from tumors fall. Reduce the risk of the cancer cells spread throughout the body, invades nearby tissue health. Until now, the most positive effects were observed when using a combination of purified THC combined with the CBD that neutralizes the psychoactive effects of THC. 7. The treatment of diseases eyes. There is a certain amount of evidence proving the ability of cannabis oil to treat eye diseases such as glaucoma and macular degeneration. Glaucoma is a serious neurological disease that can lead to vision loss. Glaucoma is caused by accumulation of fluid within the eye, which then puts too much pressure on the retina, lens, and optic nerve. While many factors may contribute to nerve damage in people with glaucoma, such as intraocular pressure, the good news is that the American pharmaceutical company trying to find a cure for stress-related illnesses intraocular invest many studies trying to understand how cannabis can reduce intraocular pressure in people with glaucoma, other stress-related diseases of the eye area. 8. For the treatment and protection of the skin reflex, the hemp oil can be applied topically to promote healthy skin appearance and radiance. When applied to the skin, hemp oil can help stimulate the shedding of old skin cells die and promote the growth of new cells to replace them. Cannabinoid substances can help to promote the production of lipids which help fight chronic skin problems, including acne and psoriasis. Oil can also be used cannabis to help prevent the signs of aging like wrinkles, skin discolorations and blemishes. These properties of the active ingredients of cannabis oil and particularly of the active ingredient CBD stem from the fact that this material is rich in natural antioxidants that help fight against cell damage caused by free radicals. By reducing the amount of stress we feel, the hemp oil can also help prevent skin diseases in times of anxiety caused by eczema or rosacea like. 9. For the treatment of seizures contracting SRI-REM, there is ample evidence from studies reported that the content of the active ingredients of cannabis oil may help patients cope with seizures as epilepsy. 10. The treatment of different situations. The most complex functional disorders from LMSL treatments such as cannabis oil pulling on children with autism, which is basically an inflammation of the nervous system that affects cognitive development. All of these modes can enjoy alongside conventional medical treatment. Customize cannabis oil in accordance with the patient undergoes disease which he seeks to heal and symptoms. Note that the desired relationship and well-kept guidelines medical staff.